Dear students, today we are going to discuss characteristic of modern poetry. So first of all, there will be a diverse variety of themes will be there. So first of all, poetry today can be written on almost any subject. The modern poets find inspirations from railway, trains, tramcars, telephones, and things of commonplace interest. Modern poets have not accepted the theory of great subject for poetic composition. The whole universe is the modern poet's composition. He writes on themes of real life. For example, the song Strain by John Davidson, Good Strain of Night by Ashley. So these are the example. So the number second is realism. So the poetry of the 20th century is marked with the note of realism. Realism in modern poetry was the product of a reaction against the romanticism of the last century over and above the influence of science. The modern poet sees life and paints at it is with the all its weight and ugliness. He tears the wheel which the Romantics had hugged between life and art. Robert Frost and other poets are realism in the modern poetry. So the number third is love. Love forms the subject of many modern lyrics. Robert Bridges has produced his fine sonnet of love in The Growth of Love, for example, I will not let thee go. So the number fourth is pessimism. There is a note of pessimism and disillusionment in the modern poetry. The modern poet has realized the pettiness of human life and tragedy and suffering of the poor have made him gloomy and sad. Poetry, as the expression of the feelings, has become, in the tone of Thomas Hardy, Huxley, and T.S. Eliot, are the poets of pessimism and disillusionment in the modern poetry. So the next one is romantic elements. In spite of the dominance of realism in modern poetry, the spirit of romance continues to rule the minds of certain poets like Yeats, Thomas, Misfield, etc. The works of these poets have the fact that the spirit of romance is as old as itself. Walter D is full of true romantic spirit bordering on the supernaturalism. With him, the ghosts and the fairies of the old world have come into the on in the 20th century. So the next one is nature. Nature attracts the modern poet no less than the poets of the earlier ages. But for the modern poet, nature is not a mystic. He does not find any spiritual meaning in nature. He feels jolly at the sight of nature's loveliness. He gives a clear picture of birds, clouds, landscape, sea, and countryside in his poetry. So, Robert Bridges and the other great poets of the nature in the modern poetry are there. So the next one is religion and the mysticism. The modern age is the age of science, but even in the scientific age, we have poems written on the subject of religion and the mysticism. W.B. Yeats, Robert Graves are the great poets who have kept alive the flame of religion and mysticism in their poetry. Next one is, and the last one is, diction and style. Modern poets have a preference for simple and direct expression. Modern poets have chosen to be free in the use of meter. They have followed freedom from the trammels of verse. Verse rhythm is replaced by sense rhythm. There is free movement in 20th century English poetry. That's all. Thank you.